Song Qiao, my mom just called me and asked me about the betrothal gift when we got married. Help me find an excuse to put her off. I have an urgent matter to attend to right now. Qin Shuai just had surgery and needs someone to take care of him. I was sitting quietly on the balcony at this moment, Feng Menghuai's voice coming from the phone in my hand. As I looked at the familiar yet strange surroundings, I could finally be sure of one thing. I was reborn. Today was our first wedding anniversary. Listening to her voice, I felt both sad and ridiculous. Reborn, she hadn't changed at all. She always mentioned her male best friend's name. I knew what Feng Menghuai wanted me to put off with her parents. When we got married, in order to marry her, I begged my relatives and friends and borrowed a total of 660,000 as a betrothal gift. In her words, marriage is a blessing that men cultivated in their previous lives, and it's only natural to receive a betrothal gift. I talked to her about the excessively high betrothal gift, but she said the amount wasn't important. What mattered was my attitude and determination to marry her. Later, I finally gave the 660,000 betrothal gift. Her parents were also reasonable people, and in the end, they returned all 660,000 to our newlywed family. They even subsidized us with an additional 100,000. This money was all deposited into Feng Menghuai's personal account, and in the end, it was all used to treat her sick male best friend. Feng Menghuai, if you're going to use the betrothal gift your parents gave you to treat him, I won't hide it from them, and I'll tell them right now. My tone was icy cold. Feng Menghuai, on the other end of the phone, suddenly fell silent. After a while, she said, Qin Shuai just had surgery, and he doesn't have money to pay for the surgery and hospitalization. You know, he's my best friend. I can't just stand by and watch him die. After hearing this, I finally understood why some people would laugh because they were extremely angry. Now, I was so angry that I laughed. All right, Feng Menghuai, since you insist on using the betrothal gift to treat him, then go ahead. I've thought about it for a long time, and I think there's no need for us to torture each other anymore. Let's get a divorce. It's a relief for both of us. You can take better care of your male best friend. As for me, it doesn't matter. After I finished speaking, I hung up the phone directly. Despite Feng Menghuai's constant calls, I refused to answer. Feng Menghuai never loved me, but I, in my obtuseness, only realized this in the end. For someone who doesn't love you, nothing you say matters. The only person she cared about was her male best friend. Her male best friend's name was Qin Shuai. As his name suggests, Qin Shuai was indeed very handsome. 6 feet tall, 8-pack abs, a sunny, athletic guy, good at sports, and very good at providing emotional value to women. However, besides being handsome, Qin Shuai has no other skills. He's been unemployed, living off my wife's money. As for where my girlfriend's money comes from me, the sucker, of course. Since getting married, Feng Menghuai has been a full-time housewife, claiming she needs to dedicate herself to raising our child. But after 5 years of marriage, we remain completely chaste. Her words have become a laughable joke. For our wedding, Feng Menghuai, in the name of saving money, made the whole affair very simple, not even inviting close friends or relatives. I wanted to invite more friends, have more banquet tables, but she flatly refused. She even scolded me for not being frugal and wasting money. If it weren't for the need to give an explanation to both sets of parents, perhaps she wouldn't even want a wedding. Just a marriage certificate would suffice. The processing fee is only 9 yuan. In other words, in her eyes, our marriage is only worth 9 yuan. Haha, how ridiculous. The most ridiculous thing is that in my past life, I willingly listened to her. On our wedding night, there was no wedding night revelry, no friends, not even any decorations in the bridal chamber. I sat quietly on the bed, expecting the wedding night every newlywed couple has. But at 1 o'clock in the morning, she got dressed and put on light makeup. She said, Song Qiao, my friend suddenly vomited blood and has been rushed to the hospital. I need to go see him right away. He only has me as a friend. He'll be helpless if I'm not there for him. At that time, I thought the friend she mentioned was a close girlfriend, so I generously let her go visit. I even drove her to the people's hospital myself. When I offered to go up with her, she strongly refused and objected. In an almost angry tone, she scolded me and told me to go home. The next day, just as I was about to leave for work, I saw her return home, exhausted with dark circles under her eyes. There's congee, buns, and warm milk I prepared for you on the table. Remember to eat before going to sleep. But when I came home that evening, she wasn't there, and the loving breakfast I had prepared for her on the table was untouched. I thought for a long time, reborn in this life, I have to do something. So, I sat on the balcony, squinting towards the bright summer sun. The sunlight filtered through the trees and fell on my pale skin, making me look so haggard and heartbroken. Finally, I called Feng Menghuai's parents. I honestly explained the whole story to them. Feng Menghuai has a first love she can't let go of, and she spent all the betrothal gifts to treat his illness. After hearing the story, her parents sighed deeply. Xiao Song, you've been wronged this past year of marriage. Our family has wronged you. If you really want a divorce, then divorce. We support you. Having received affirmation from Feng Menghuai's parents, my mood lightened somewhat. That night, as soon as Feng Menghuai came home, she slammed a crystal glass on the floor in front of me. Crash! The beautiful crystal glass shattered into pieces. I calmly looked at the shards on the ground, then looked at her. This crystal glass, it was the first gift I gave you, wasn't it? Feng Menghuai's face flushed with anger. Song Qiao, you heartless, unloving, inhuman bastard. You actually told my parents about me and Qin Shuai. Do you know how serious Qin Shuai's coughing up blood is? He has lung cancer and needs a lot of money for treatment. Feng Menghuai even showed me a miserable video of Qin Shuai lying in a hospital bed. But I wasn't interested at all. I just repeated, this crystal glass, it was the first gift I gave you, wasn't it? Seeing that I didn't care about what she was saying, Feng Menghuai became furious. During our year of marriage, I had been completely obedient and submissive to her. She had long been accustomed to acting like a high and mighty empress, ordering me, her subject, around as she pleased. But now, I suddenly disobeyed her, challenging her sense of control. Song Qiao, do you think I care about the gifts you give me? This useless crystal glass isn't even worth a single hair of the gift Qin Shuai gives me. I'm telling you, if you keep challenging my bottom line, don't blame me for divorcing you. Divorce? Hearing this, I suddenly laughed, because this is exactly what I wanted. Divorce is fine. Perhaps Feng Menghuai didn't expect that I would agree to the divorce so decisively. You know, during this year of marriage, I played the role of a simp, a good husband, trying my best to satisfy all her unreasonable demands. All our friends thought we were a model couple, the kind that would never divorce. Song Qiao, are you crazy? I just said it out of anger. And you agreed? Feng Menghuai immediately turned on me. It seems that you've been planning this for a long time. You've wanted to divorce me for a long time, haven't you? Now you finally have the chance. But I'm telling you, I won't let you get your way. I smiled coldly, seeing right through Feng Menghuai's little scheme. The reason she didn't want a divorce was simple. Once divorced, all the marital property would have to be divided, including the 660,000 yuan betrothal gift in her account, plus the 100,000 yuan from her parents. Because this money was deposited for a 1-year fixed term on our wedding day, it couldn't be withdrawn. Yesterday, the term matured, and Feng Menghuai eagerly withdrew it. Feng Menghuai was really anxious. It seemed that the call I made to her parents had worked. Her parents must have pressured her not to spend my betrothal gift on another man. Feng Menghuai, you think too poorly of me. Humph, a man like you, selfish, hypocritical to the extreme, pretending to be a good person for so many years, finally couldn't hold back today. Expose your true colors, right? I just want to use the money to save someone. Just this small matter, you have to make a big fuss, making everyone restless. Feng Menghuai's words were sharp and sarcastic, cutting to the heart. But my face remained expressionless, because what she said perfectly described herself. Feng Menghuai, maybe this is a small matter to you, but to me, it's a huge matter. You always like to bring up the past, but you don't like me doing the same. So today I'm going to bring it up. On our wedding day, Qin Shuai called you away in the evening, and you spent the whole night with him, leaving me, your rightful husband, alone. 1 month after our wedding, I accompanied you shopping. Qin Shuai was in a bad mood. A phone call from him took you away again. You directly told me to pay the bill and go home quickly. Don't disturb you and your best friend. 2 months after our wedding, it was my birthday. You didn't give me any gift, just sent a happy birthday. A few days later, it was Qin Shuai's birthday, and you prepared a watch worth 50,000 yuan for him. 3 months after our wedding, we went to your parents' house for dinner, and it was another call from Qin Shuai. Before we even finished eating, you put down your chopsticks and went out to find him. I was the one who lied for you in front of your parents to cover for you. As I recounted the past incidents one by one, Feng Menghuai's expression changed from white to green, then from green to black. Enough. Song Qiao, I didn't expect you to be the kind of man who likes to bring up the past. What kind of man is as disgusting as you, nagging on and on about every little thing? No one is perfect, and besides, I don't think I did anything wrong. Is there a problem with me caring about my best friend? I sneered. Of course. How could you be wrong? All the fault lies with me. I shouldn't have married you in the first place. Feng Menghuai was trembling with anger. Song Qiao, what do you mean? Nothing else. I just want a divorce. That night, Feng Menghuai slammed the door and left. If I'm not mistaken, she must have run into the arms of her best friend, Qin Shuai, to cry. Although I married Feng Menghuai, I never touched her. Every time I wanted to be intimate with her, she always refused. However, I could often smell other men on her. Being cheated on was very uncomfortable. The thought of my woman being with another man would make me furious, always wanting to destroy something. But tonight, my mood was surprisingly calm. The reason was simple. Once you stop loving someone, nothing they do can anger you anymore. Before I went to sleep, my phone suddenly received a new message. It was from Feng Menghuai. Husband, can you coax me? I squinted at the words on my phone. If I remember correctly, this was the first time Feng Menghuai called me husband. In my past life, she never called me that. Why? I calmly typed these words. Other men coax their girlfriends when they are angry, and you used to coax me. Why don't you coax me today? Don't want. I coldly typed the last 3 words. Then I turned off my phone and went to sleep. And this was the kind of firmness I never had in the 5 years of my past life. This feeling made me inexplicably happy. 5 years of suffocation, 5 years of grievance. All the negative emotions were swept away at this moment. If someone doesn't love you, then try to love yourself first. The next day, I went to my parents' house, a place I hadn't visited in a long time. When my parents saw me coming back with bags of groceries, both of them were beaming. You silly child, why bring things when you come back? We don't lack anything at home. You don't need to buy these. It's a waste of money. Dad, Mom, you've worked hard. It's only right that I buy some things to visit you. Oh, you become successful, but Menghuai didn't come with you today? Well, if she knew you bought us so many things, she would definitely blame you for wasting money. Hearing my dad's last sentence, I suddenly felt a pang of sadness. It turned out that in my past life, I focused all my attention on Feng Menghuai, completely ignoring my parents' grievances and suffering. Although my dad said this lightly, I still heard a hint of disappointment in his tone. Because I came back suddenly, my mom insisted on going out to buy some groceries. And I chatted with my dad casually. Suddenly, he casually mentioned, yesterday your mom went to the hospital for a checkup and they found something in her head. My dad stopped abruptly, realizing he had let something slip, his expression like a child who had done something wrong. My brows furrowed, suddenly realizing something. Dad, what's wrong with Mom? What's in her head? My dad shook his head. No, it's nothing. Suddenly, I saw a covered hospital report on the counter. I quickly walked over and picked it up to look. My dad hurriedly got up to stop me, but it was too late. When I saw the 2 clear words on the report, brain tumor, at this moment, my limbs went cold, and my whole body trembled terribly. And in my past life, I never knew that my mom had a brain tumor. In other words, my parents hid this condition from me in my past life. If I hadn't suddenly come home this time, changing the original timeline, I'm afraid I wouldn't have known that my mom had a brain tumor until I died. Slap. I slapped myself hard and cursed myself for being unfilial. To a woman who didn't love me at all, I practically gave everything, acting like a simp, and was cheated on. But I neglected the woman who loved me most. My mother. Fortunately, in my past life, Feng Menghuai went to great lengths to treat Qin Shuai's illness, visiting hospitals large and small. I also learned by osmosis and knew of a good hospital for treating brain tumors. Luckily, I discovered this early in this life, preventing the tragedy from happening again. Mom bought a lot of groceries, all my favorites. I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness. In my previous life, after 5 years of marriage, Feng Menghuai didn't even know what I liked to eat. Feng Menghuai was the apple of my eye, and I was the apple of my mother's eye. I loved a woman who didn't love me, but there was a woman who always loved me unconditionally. Soon, Mom had a table full of dishes ready, just as the three of us were about to start eating. Feng Menghuai knocked on the door. She carried bags of gifts, bird's nest, Mao Dai, things she would never normally buy for my parents. Menghuai, why are you here? If I had known you were coming, I would have bought more good dishes. You silly child, why bring so many gifts? We are family. Why are you being so polite? Mom said as she secretly hid the gifts I had brought into the room. Feng Menghuai had put on beautiful makeup today and was dressed in the style my parents liked, even though she had complained to me more than once about my parents' tacky taste. Mom and Dad, I've been very busy lately, so I haven't been able to accompany my husband to visit you. I'll come to visit you every Sunday from now on. Listening to Feng Menghuai, my stomach churned. I felt sick, but my parents knew nothing. Their faces were filled with joy and happiness, their eyes brimming with tears, and they kept praising Feng Menghuai for being sensible. After I asked Feng Menghuai for a divorce, Feng Menghuai seemed like a different person. She started to take the initiative to be nice to me, started to be filial to my parents, and started to call me husband affectionately. I was fed up with her hypocrisy. After finishing this meal hastily, I found an excuse to pull her away from my parents' house. There were things I couldn't say in front of my parents, so I had to say them outside. Before I could speak, Feng Menghuai spoke first. Song Qiao, I know you have some misunderstandings about me recently. I think we need to have a good talk. Talk about what? Talk about your deep sisterhood with Qin Shuai? Or talk about how you used my betrothal gifts to treat his illness out of sympathy? Or do you want to tell me that you never loved me and only married me because you were forced to? My words, like a machine gun, bombarded Feng Menghuai's face. Feng Menghuai trembled with anger. Song Qiao, you weren't like this before. What was I like before? You used to be gentle, considerate, kind, and generous, and you wouldn't get jealous. No matter what I did, you would be very tolerant of me. But now, why do you get so angry over small things? When did you become so narrow-minded? The words narrow-minded made me laugh in anger. Yes, in my past life, I was a cuckold for 5 whole years. I swallowed my anger, pretended not to see, pretended not to hear. That's why I ended up in despair. I took a deep breath, hid all the thunder in my heart, and looked at her with a blank expression. Feng Menghuai, because I'm tired. Tired? Are you tired of being with me? Yes, I'm tired. I'm tired of pretending to be generous, calm, magnanimous, understanding, and even pretending to see nothing in front of you. Feng Menghuai's face was pale, her lips trembling slightly. What did you see? I smiled coldly. I saw your concern for Qin Shuai, and I saw that you love him more than you love me. So I don't want to pretend anymore, because it's tiring and meaningless. That's it. Let's end it. I took the initiative to say the final words, and took out the divorce agreement I had prepared. This is the divorce agreement. You'd better take a look. I won't look, Feng Menghuai said angrily. That's fine. Then I'll take it as you agreeing to the contents. The Civil Affairs Bureau opens at 2 p.m., so let's go register for divorce now. After the 30-day cooling-off period, you can be with Qin Shuai openly and honestly. By then, no matter how much you want to take care of him, even if you stay with him every day, no one will care and no one will gossip about you. Feng Menghuai, congratulations on regaining your freedom, and congratulations on finding your true love." I smiled, and it was a sincere smile from the heart. If the divorce goes smoothly, I can get back half of our marital assets. With this money, I can pay for my mother's brain tumor treatment and then take my parents on a trip. They've always wanted to visit the Forbidden City and climb the Great Wall in Beijing. This would be the perfect opportunity to fulfill their dream. But at this moment, Feng Menghuai's face was expressionless. She even asked, "Song Qiao, is it because I haven't given you a child that you want to divorce me? Do you see me as nothing more than a baby-making machine?" A baby-making machine? I never thought Feng Menghuai would objectify herself like this. Because I've never said those words, nor have I ever thought that way. I've never even forced myself on Feng Menghuai. Even in our previous 5 years of marriage, I always respected her wishes and thoughts. Just then, Feng Menghuai's phone rang. She picked it up, saw the caller ID, and immediately panicked. She wanted to hang up, but hesitated. Seeing her conflicted expression, I immediately understood that the caller must be her male best friend. So, I took her phone directly. "Song Qiao, what are you doing?" Feng Menghuai watched helplessly as I answered the call. Qin Shuai's weak voice came from the other end. "Menghuai, my body hurts so much. The smell of disinfectant in the ward is so awful. I miss the scent of gardenia on you so much. Can you come and keep me company?" As soon as he said this, Feng Menghuai's face changed drastically. I looked at her with amusement. "So, the reason you always like to wear gardenia perfume is because your male best friend likes it." Feng Menghuai's lips twitched involuntarily. Her mind raced, but she couldn't think of anything to say in her defense. "Menghuai, are you listening to me?" I said coldly. "Qin Shuai, stop whining. If your body hurts, see a doctor. If you hate the smell of disinfectant, cover your nose with a rag. Aren't you afraid of gossip? Always asking a married woman to accompany you." Qin Shuai was startled. "Song Qiao, why do you have Feng Menghuai's phone?" I sneered. "Aren't I helping you two get together? In a month, we'll be divorced, and then I'll personally escort my ex-wife to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get your marriage license. By the way, if you're planning a wedding and you invite me, I'll definitely give you a gift. Consider it a thank you for freeing me from the cage of marriage." Feng Menghuai finally couldn't stand it any longer. Her face darkened menacingly, and she snatched the phone from my hand. Then she immediately hung up. "Song Qiao, you've gone too far. Qin Shuai and I are just normal best friends. It's not like what you think. Qin Shuai has even spoken highly of you in front of me many times. You treating him like this is so disappointing. Fine, you want a divorce, right? Let's do it." With that, we immediately went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to schedule our divorce. When the 30-day cooling-off period began, it felt like a heavy stone had been lifted from my shoulders, and most of my psychological burden disappeared. Feng Menghuai didn't say another word and immediately took a taxi to the hospital to see Qin Shuai. Watching Feng Menghuai leave to go to another man, honestly, my feelings were mixed. After all, no one wants to be the one left behind. I'm her husband, yet she always goes to another man. I contacted Feng Menghuai's parents again. This time, I seriously reiterated the matter of the divorce and told them that immediately after filing for divorce, Feng Menghuai rushed to the hospital to take care of Qin Shuai. Upon learning this, her parents were furious. They assured me that every penny, every asset that belonged to me, Song Qiao, would be returned to me, because they didn't want this money to be swindled by a completely unrelated male best friend. 10 p.m. I was lying on the bed in our marital bedroom, playing with my phone. Suddenly, I heard the sound of the door opening. I knew it was Feng Menghuai coming back. She quickly showered, changed into her pajamas, and came into my room. I thought she would do as usual, cover herself with a quilt and sleep on the other side. We were clearly sleeping in the same bed, but it felt like there was a galaxy between us. So close, yet so far. Just as I was about to go to sleep, suddenly, Feng Menghuai gently hugged me from behind. I was startled. "Feng Menghuai, what are you doing?" You know, in this life and the last, this was the first time she had actively hugged me. "Song Qiao, I've already made so many sacrifices for you. Why do you have to push me to the point of no return? Listening to Feng Menghuai's accusations, I was taken aback. What have you sacrificed? I spent a fortune buying gifts for your parents, wore the clothes they like, went to your house for dinner, and made them happy. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Feng Menghuai continued. I don't know what I did to upset you. You didn't have so much hostility towards Qin Shuai before. Knowing that my parents don't like him, you still insisted on telling them about him. I immediately pushed Feng Menghuai away from me, keeping my distance. Why shouldn't I tell them? We're getting a divorce. If I don't make things clear, your parents might think I'm having an affair. I can't bear that false accusation. A flash of resentment flickered in Feng Menghuai's eyes. Song Qiao, how many times have I told you? Qin Shuai and I are just purely friends. I laughed in disbelief. If it weren't for the experiences of my past life, I might have believed Feng Menghuai's carefully crafted lies. In the end, it was Feng Menghuai and Qin Shuai who got together and kicked me to the curb. Song Qiao, haven't your parents been urging us to have a child? Let's have a child today. I looked at Feng Menghuai in disbelief. I couldn't believe she would take the initiative to say this to me. She took off her clothes in front of me, but I wasn't interested at all. In fact, I was even suspicious of something. Feng Menghuai had been taking care of Qin Shuai for so long. It was inevitable that the two of them might have crossed the line due to prolonged intimacy. What if Feng Menghuai was carrying Qin Shuai's child, and she was using this opportunity to have a child with me tonight to pass Qin Shuai's child off as mine? Then I would truly be unable to defend myself. So I refused her. Feng Menghuai, put your clothes back on. I'm not interested in you at all. In my eyes, you're already Qin Shuai's wife. It just so happens that you two are in love. As soon as we get divorced, I'll send you straight to him. Don't you like taking care of him? He happens to be sick and needs someone to look after him. Anyway, you said it yourself. Qin Shuai has no friends, only you as a best friend. So for his future happiness, it's best if you marry him and take care of him for the rest of your life. Feng Menghuai clenched her fists, perhaps not expecting to be so rebuffed in front of me. She gritted her teeth and said, Song Qiao, I will prove to you that there is nothing between him and me. Once he recovers, I won't see him again. I replied, whatever. Your parents said they would return the betrothal gifts in full. You'd better not use my money to treat Qin Shuai, or your parents will have to sell their house to pay me back. Feng Menghuai's beautiful eyes widened, filled with anger. We ended up parting on bad terms. To sleep comfortably, I decided to make do on the sofa for the night. The next morning, before dawn, Feng Menghuai went out again to buy breakfast for her male best friend. In the past 5 years of our previous life, the number of times she bought me breakfast were few and far between. On the contrary, quite a few times I bought it for her, only for her to take it to Qin Shuai. While Feng Menghuai was taking care of Qin Shuai, I invited an old lawyer friend I hadn't seen for a long time. With his help, I made a property gift notarization with Feng Menghuai's parents. In their eyes, their daughter had completely lost her mind, wanting to give all her money and property to Qin Shuai. The two elders would rather leave their family property to me than to that bloodsucker Qin Shuai. Moreover, over the years, Qin Shuai had taken a lot of money from me and the two elders. I asked the lawyer to collect evidence, planning to sue Qin Shuai together and make him spit out all the money he owed. A day later, I successfully sued Qin Shuai. Next was the waiting game. Qin Shuai's treatment went well. He was successfully discharged from the hospital, and Feng Menghuai was very happy. On the day of his discharge, I deliberately held a bouquet of flowers and stood at the hospital entrance to welcome the two. They walked hand in hand, talking and laughing. As soon as she saw me, Feng Menghuai quickly let go of his hand in fright. She looked at me in a panic. I smiled faintly. Qin Shuai, congratulations on your successful discharge. These flowers are for you. Qin Shuai was also stunned, obviously not expecting me to be there. Song Qiao, thank you. I smiled and asked Qin Shuai. During this time, my wife has been taking care of you. How has she been? Qin Shuai's expression stiffened, and Feng Menghuai's face next to him became unsightly. I said nonchalantly, I really envy you. She has never taken care of a man so carefully, not even me. I don't have such good fortune as you. My wife must be very useful, right? Qin Shuai said awkwardly. Song Qiao, don't misunderstand. We're just pure best friends. Ha! I laughed heartily. What can I misunderstand? I'm just concerned about how fast your relationship is progressing. By the way, Qin Shuai, I heard that you don't have a place to stay yet. Why don't you go to my and Feng Menghuai's wedding house? My wedding bed is big and soft. You two will definitely be very comfortable sleeping on it. Feng Menghuai's expression turned a little ugly. Song Qiao, I know you're being sarcastic. Didn't I promise you before that after Qin Shuai is discharged, I would? You would what? Feng Menghuai ultimately didn't say the words, not have contact. By the way, I have to work overtime at the company tonight, so I won't be staying at home. If you and Qin Shuai want to go home, you don't have to worry about me coming back suddenly. The two looked at each other. Song Qiao, we're really not what you think. At night, I stayed at the company to work overtime. But on my phone screen, I was clearly connected to the camera at home. At this moment, on the phone screen, my wife, Feng Menghuai, was constantly rolling around in my wedding bed with her male best friend. The positions they were playing were more varied than I could have imagined. I recorded it all with great interest. The next day, Feng Menghuai came to me. Song Qiao, divorce is fine, but the betrothal gifts and the house all belong to me. The car can be yours. Why? Last night, it seemed that Qin Shuai had completely conquered Feng Menghuai. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come to me early in the morning to discuss divorce terms. Firstly, the betrothal gift. I've already used it to treat him. And secondly, the house. He and I need a place to live. What about me? You're a grown man, with hands and feet. Can't you earn money yourself? Feng Menghuai's tone was full of disgust, not even bothering to pretend. I smiled. I took out my phone and played a video for her. After she finished watching the R-rated video, she stared at me in shock. Song Qiao, you secretly installed a camera in our room behind my back. How could you do this? I laughed. It's my room. Why can't I install a camera? Feng Menghuai, do you want me to send this video to your parents? Or should I send it to a lawyer and sue you for adultery, leaving you with nothing? Feng Menghuai clenched her fists, her face frighteningly gloomy. Song Qiao, what exactly do you want? I simply stated my terms. Return the money that belongs to me, and I don't want anything else. Feng Menghuai raged. Song Qiao, are you determined to push me to the brink? I told you I have no money. I immediately cursed. Feng Menghuai, you bitch. You still want to lie to me? Qin Shuai clearly has a house worth 800,000 yuan in the city center, which he bought with my betrothal gift. Either you return the money to me, or we'll see each other in court. Feng Menghuai was utterly shocked. She didn't expect that I had even discovered her deepest secret. And Qin Shuai was officially sued by a lawyer. Caught in a dilemma, Qin Shuai ultimately chose to sell the house and compensate me. A month later, we broke up as planned. Half an hour later, Feng Menghuai and Qin Shuai obtained their marriage certificate. Congratulations to both of you. You finally achieved your goal. Holding my divorce certificate, I congratulated the newlyweds who had just received theirs. Qin Shuai's face was incredibly unsightly. He sold his downtown house and scraped together the money to return my betrothal gift, the price being that I wouldn't release the video. However, at least he still had our former marital home to live in. Qin Shuai deliberately said, to be honest, Song Qiao, I have to thank you. If it weren't for you, Feng Menghuai and I wouldn't have been able to be together. You helped us find our true love for each other. I smiled coldly. Really? Then you two are truly a match made in heaven. As the saying goes, a bitch deserves a dog, and a scumbag deserves a chicken. Because I knew what kind of man Qin Shuai was. So I knew their ending would definitely be miserable. My eyes gleamed with excitement. After receiving the money I deserved, I immediately took my mother to the best brain tumor hospital for surgery. The doctor said the tumor was in its early stages, the surgery was very successful, and her recovery was going well. And after leaving Feng Menghuai, my career also took off rapidly. A year later, I earned a lot of money, bought a nice villa locally, and moved into the new home with my parents. My parents boasted about my success to everyone, making them feel incredibly proud. However, one day, two uninvited guests suddenly appeared outside my villa. It was Feng Menghuai and Qin Shuai. Seeing me living in a large villa, their eyes were filled with greed. Song Qiao, what kind of spell did you cast on Feng Menghuai's parents? They left all their property and savings to you. I bet you bought this villa with my parents' savings. This should be my villa. You must return it to me immediately. I was stunned for a moment. Facing the two people I hadn't seen in a year, they had aged considerably and looked like they had suffered a lot. First of all, your parents left their house and savings to me voluntarily. I have a lawyer and a video as proof. You're lying. You must have swindled them. The two of them still wanted to cause trouble, but I presented the evidence and then called the community security to drive them away. Later, I learned that not long after they got married, they frequently quarreled over money issues. When Feng Menghuai and I were married, I was the one earning the money. She was used to being provided for. However, Qin Shuai was also someone who had been supported by Feng Menghuai. Feng Menghuai believed that a man should work and support his family. But Qin Shuai argued that since Feng Menghuai had supported him before, she should continue to do so. In the end, Feng Menghuai was forced to go out and work as a waitress. And Qin Shuai also thought of a way to make money. Online gambling. Initially, he made a lot of money through online gambling, making Feng Menghuai happy for a while. Later, he started losing money, more and more. At first, when he lost a lot, Feng Menghuai still found ways to get money for him to continue gambling, hoping to win it back. Later, as he lost more and more, Feng Menghuai realized that they couldn't continue gambling. She wanted to pull Qin Shuai back from the abyss of gambling. But Qin Shuai, like a gambler with bloodshot eyes, couldn't listen to any advice. He forced Feng Menghuai to get money, and if she couldn't, he would resort to domestic violence. Feng Menghuai worked several jobs while enduring the beatings. It was only then that Feng Menghuai would think about the good times she had with me. At least I wouldn't make her work, and I wouldn't hit her. She could even live a delicate, petty bourgeois life every day, buying the cosmetics and jewelry she liked, eating the delicious food and fruit she wanted. But now, she had been reduced to selling her only marital home to pay off a mountain of debt. Even so, Qin Shuai didn't stop. He believed he would make a comeback. In the end, he didn't. The odds are always stacked against gamblers, and with online gambling, the wins and losses are controlled by the system's back end. Finally, Qin Shuai set his sights on Feng Menghuai's parents. He told Feng Menghuai to trick her parents out of their property deed and savings. For his final gamble, the events of this life have unfolded differently from the last. To avoid any danger, I hurried to Feng Menghuai's parents' house. As soon as I arrived, I saw Qin Shuai rummaging through their cabinets, searching for their money. The elderly couple were furious, repeatedly cursing Qin Shuai as a scoundrel. They had anticipated this scene. They would rather leave all their property to me than let it fall into Qin Shuai's hands. I, along with a few bodyguards, subdued Qin Shuai. Amidst his curses and complaints, we threw him out. In a corner, I saw Feng Menghuai, disheveled and trembling. She was no longer the innocent dream girl I once held in my heart. Only 26, she looked like a woman in her 40s. As soon as she saw me, Feng Menghuai frantically grabbed my arm. Song Qiao, I was wrong. I regret it. I shouldn't have divorced you. After the divorce, I realized how good you were to me, how much you sacrificed for me. Forgive me for being immature and falling for a good-for-nothing scum. You haven't remarried yet. Are you still waiting for me? Let's remarry. I'll be a good wife, bear you many children, and be a devoted wife and mother. I shook my head. Feng Menghuai, I don't want you to be a baby-making machine. Feng Menghuai was stunned. The boomerang she had thrown a year ago had finally come back to hit her squarely between the eyes. 2 months later, I heard that Feng Menghuai and Qin Shuai had divorced. Before the divorce, Qin Shuai had swindled her out of her last savings. And right after their divorce, Qin Shuai seamlessly moved on to a new woman. He married someone else. Only then did Feng Menghuai realize that Qin Shuai was a parasite, and she had been his host. Once the host was depleted of nutrients, the parasite would seek another. She frantically tried to win me back, but I had already found my true love. She was my old classmate, a lawyer. Over the past year, while she helped me with my lawsuit, our feelings grew, and we naturally came together. Seeing me intimately entwined with another woman, Feng Menghuai's guts twisted with regret. She had once had the chance to live a life of luxury in a villa, but she had given it all up. She regretted it to the point of wanting to die. To make matters worse, her belly was growing day by day. She was carrying Qin Shuai's child. Feng Menghuai lost her job, her house, and even her parents turned their backs on her. Another winter arrived, the city blanketed in snow. On my way to a company meeting, I received a message from Feng Menghuai's parents. The message was simple. Qin Shuai, overwhelmed by gambling debts exceeding 10 million, had jumped to his death. Feng Menghuai was taken home by her parents, but she had completely lost her mind, often screaming and hallucinating about her life as a wealthy wife. My wife brushed the snow off my coat. She smiled and asked, "Honey, who sent you the message?" My voice was filled with a mix of emotions. Two ghosts of the past.